As expected, the Clemson Tigers crushing the Citadel, but tonight was about so much more than that. Everyone here at Death Valley just happy to be back, playing in and enjoying a live college football game once again. Dawn Staley wrote a letter published in the Players Tribune titled, "Black People Are Tired." Since that letter, Staley and her players have been seen out at the local protests, and she tells me this moment in time will greatly impact the cultures of college sports. Dawn Staley is one of the most recognizable faces in South Carolina. Leading a program that's known for packing the house, Staley isn't afraid of speaking up when it comes to basketball and the topic of racial injustice.
I feel like for me, I have to speak out for me because it wouldn't feel right living each day knowing that I let something slip by.
But usually, when it's raining and pretty dreary outside, people keep themselves occupied indoors. But Santee wasn't really impacted much by the storm today until a little over an hour ago. And I found a Clemson student who came out to hit some golf balls simply because he was bored. Alex Hooper wasn't expecting much out of Monday with Isaias on the horizon. But when the weather stayed clear, he found himself at the Lake Marion Golf Club.
I was actually going to go to my grandparents, and then I looked up and saw it was kind of clear back here, so that's kind of when I made my decision.
While golf seems like a nice, relaxing activity in the middle of a storm, Hooper wants to make clear that golf always brings its fair share of stress.
It's also very frustrating. I mean, it can be relaxing, but I don't know, it's just kind of always been something that I could come out here and just get some things off my mind and hit a few balls and get a little practice in as well.
Don't shoot!
Megan Swarchek is a rising senior at SC State. She's one of the few white students on campus, plays for the school's soccer team, and is a member of a black sorority, Delta Sigma Theta. So when Swarchek went back to her hometown of Milford, Michigan, that is 96% white, she knew she couldn't stay silent.
People are making this about choosing sides, and this isn't about bringing politics in you know what I mean? This isn't a Democrat thing, This is everybody versus racism.
Swarchek teamed up with Power Detroit, an activist organization, to spread the topic of racial injustice and police brutality. And she made it clear in our interview that she didn't want this story to be about a white girl that saves the day. She wants this story and these protests to be about amplifying black voices.
That's the very reason that we decided to go, because we feel like Milford is the type of city that, all the racism out there, all of that needs to be addressed at this time.
We're all in this together. This is one race, a human race. So if you see your brothers and your sisters that are down, pick them up and help them out and move them forward.
Our conversation about the Milford protest lasted about 45 minutes, and all three women kept emphasizing the need for Americans to learn true black history to better understand why this movement is happening. For 29 straight games and almost 2 full seasons, I've looked into the camera and told you all one overall thing. Clemson won. Tonight here in New Orleans, I'm saying something we haven't said in 2 years. Clemson lost. Some may not consider Double Dutch a conventional sport like football, basketball, and baseball. But if you've never tried it, trust me, you'll change your mind. I had to take a tour of the Big Easy because it's my first time in New Orleans, so I had to see what all this iconic food was all about. We thought we'd start with the appetizer and come here to Willie's Chicken Shack on Bourbon Street and try out some of that famous New Orleans jambalaya. Let's go. It is hot. All right. 2 topics kept coming up. The idea that HBCUs are seen as less than big schools like South Carolina and Clemson by the general public, and that athletes who choose to go to HBCUs over schools like that must not be good enough to go there in the first place. You actually pulled off like the fashion, maybe the veteran thing. You got the wristband. Yes. Did you already pre-plan that, or was that in the moment?
I did. I was like, I see all of them cutting down the one little strip, and I learned my lesson the first 3 years, and I'm gonna get me a bracelet.
So why is Segra Park allowed to host sports with spectators, but the Blowfish cannot? In the official guidelines from the governor's office, it states beginning on June 15th, youth sports organizers and recreation departments may begin holding games or similar competitions with or without spectators. This league falls under those guidelines.
We did clarify last night as all this was coming to light, and we got confirmation from the governor's office that American Legion youth sports are allowed.
The Lexington Blowfish are also an amateur team, but here is the difference. The governor's office deems the Blowfish a non-essential business.
We were, again, under the understanding that we are an amateur baseball team playing baseball here in Lexington County at a county field.
I asked fans here today if they feel there's a double standard with restaurants and beaches allowed to have people while certain sports cannot. And many of them feel it's a gray area and a tough call for the government. And there is quarterback Trevor Lawrence walking down the stairs now. The hair is flowing. It's looking good. He's saying, in case you're wondering, that he uses Moroccan oil conditioner now for the hair, in case you're wondering. After a game like that, what is there left to say but wow? Clemson and Ohio State giving us an instant classic here in Glendale, Arizona, as the Tigers, for the 29th consecutive time, come out on top.
A 3-day beard I don't plan to shave. It's a goofy thing, but I just got to say, hey, I'm doing all right.
That's right.
Is there a more Dabo song than that?
He loves it. You love it. We love it. And that's it. We're ready for Monday night. We'll send it back to you, Mitch. Thanks, man. What are the chances that we see one of these young players break through soon?
Anna Samova actually has a very good draw. She's a young player from Florida. She's just 17 years old. You know your stuff, by the way. Very impressed.
You were famously on an episode of Martin. So which other 90s sitcom would you want to appear on? We have Fresh Prince, Friends, Living Single, or Cheers.
Ooh, I'm gonna go with the Fresh Prince.
Oh, okay.
Here's why, because he's from West Philly.
I'm laughing because we got some guys from New Orleans here. They're watching me. They're saying that I'm too dramatic with this. That they're saying that I'm being too intense. But Mike, it is intense. We're excited for the championship game. And you gotta love it. You gotta love the atmosphere that both teams are gonna bring on Monday night. You got Trevor versus Joe, Dabo versus Coach O. So it is excited, and I am gonna be dramatic. Let's get you a look around at this place because it's my first time in New Orleans. Obviously, Clemson has been here many times before, but the Superdome is absolutely massive. It's even bigger than you can imagine. Can you give a shout out to your fans back in Columbia?
Oh yeah, go Dirty Birds, Columbia bound 803, love all y'all.
Thanks, man. Go enjoy your teammates.
Appreciate it, man.
I'm here, as you can see, in the very picturesque Arizona, where the Clemson Tigers look to get back to another national championship. As far as what keeps them going, Carswell says it's thinking of his current students accomplishing their dreams down the road.
They're going to go back and say, you remember Mr. Carswell? You remember some of the fun things we did and how much we learned in that class? And for me to go out and see my students 20, 30 years from now and to have them come up and thank me, that's what I long for. And that's the desire that I have, to have that type of impact where it's a positive impact on my students' lives.
For the second time in 3 years, the Clemson Tigers are your college football national champions. Now coming up later in sports, we'll hear from the Gamecock players about what it's like to play in the most historic sporting arena in the world. Today at Media Day at AT&T Stadium here in Dallas was the first time we'd spoken to Dexter Lawrence since the news broke that he did fail that drug test. And for Alabama, it's an opportunity to prove once and for all who is the top dog in college football. For Clemson, it's a chance at a second national title in 3 years. It is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. You guys are wearing shirts in honor of Pat Summitt. There was a beautiful moment at the beginning during the national anthem where you came together. What was the message behind that?
I mean, the message is we're unified. Although we battle in between these lines, and things are said and done, when it boils down to we are people.
Came alive in the second, shooting 70% and scoring 65 points to stun the Duke Blue Devils 88-81 and advance to the Sweet 16 of the NCAA tournament. The organization used the day to present athletic letters to Special Olympics athletes, and for everyone involved, it was a day they won't soon forget. For the first time in South Carolina history, a school district has awarded letters to student athletes in Special Olympics training and unified sports teams. 45 students from River Bluff, White Knoll, and Lexington High came together to be recognized for their hard work and accomplishments in sports, a celebration that provided inspiration for those watching.
You know, the motto for Special Olympics is let me win, but if I cannot win, let me be brave in the attempt.
And today is about the courage of these athletes doing their best, and there's nothing better than celebrating that.
Just seeing everybody so excited about what our athletes do and what they accomplish every single day.
This is your 10th career state championship. Did you ever think when you started coaching you'd get to number 10?
Yes. Didn't think it'd take this long.
And what made this team so different from all the others?
We know we got a real curious mix of seniors and underclassmen. Got some very talented underclassmen. They all just balled in, and when we lost to Fort D, we said we're going to beat Fort D and we're going to win the state championship. They were single-minded in purpose, which makes you proud as a coach.
Top seed that has a great defense of their own has taken notice, and they say they're prepared to take down that defense come Saturday.
And then once they put their arms around it, then you can kind of throw them some more stuff, and eventually they're doing full-time math, and then they start having fun because it becomes challenging. +3. You're a lot better than I thought. You're doing pretty good.
Tiger Nation is excited as maybe there is a changing of the guard after Clemson's dominant 44-16 win over #1 ranked Alabama. The Ocean Course here at Kiowa Island has been the site of many of golf's biggest moments, and the committee is excited to welcome the sport back to South Carolina, where this will be the site of the 2021 PGA Championship. Linda Kelly then started an online petition to get the baseball program back, and in just 2 days there are 8,000 plus signatures and counting.
I couldn't just sit by and not do something about this. I felt like I needed to get involved somehow and see if we can put this puzzle back together. The university is crazy if they're not hearing what these people are saying.
Time is of the essence when it comes to players on the Furman roster. With about 900 players currently in the transfer portal and the NCAA giving permission for seniors to return next season, there aren't many options when it comes to their futures for next year.
Yum. Right? That's the right answer right there. It is yummy. New Orleans, the food is real. The perfect meal to end the perfect week before game day. Clemson, LSU. Hopefully it's as good as the New Orleans food.
What is it like for you to give Black women a voice during all of this and make sure they're getting their voices heard, especially in the wake of everything going on with Breonna Taylor in that case?
We do have the same struggles as a race, but there's just different struggles. From a Black woman, from a Black man, just two different struggles. So to have that outwardly spoken Black woman figure as my coach, to be one of the coaches that is outwardly spoken and always there to shed her voice is great, because then you have somebody to look up to.